Welcome to another episode of The Drive presented by oddschecker. My name is Andy LACC. I'm joined as always by Geoffrey Fienberg. Geoffrey, US Open week is here. Might be my favorite week of the year. It's golf course dependent for me, and I think we are in store for a good one. I freaking love Pinehurst, and I cannot wait to dive into it with you, my friend.
I love the U.S. Open. Historically, like a lot of golf fans, Father's Day, what do you want to do? Me and my dad, all we want to do is just watch golf. So it kind of sets up perfect for many reasons, Andy. But you look at the history of the U.S. Open, literally the last 8 to 10 years. It's just so many players who we were certain knew were going to win majors, win their first major here, right? Like Rahm, Bryson, Brooks, DJ, even going farther back, like your Justin Rose, like so many guys, in more recent histories with Fitz. I don't know how certain we were he was going to, or Wyndham Clark, a bit more of a longer shot. But as a guy that liked to bet guys who'd never won majors before, I lucked my way into some good things here at the U.S. Open. Kind of worried Scotty's going to take away the fun. But, there's an age range and a breakthrough field if you look at the last decade of U.S. Open winners.
Sure. So let's dive into it because I agree. I think that the situation that we're in with Scottie is unique. I know that we were in a similar situation at the Masters and the PGA. Like his odds are a little bit shorter here than they were at the Masters and the PGA. It feels different. It feels like people are handing him the tournament before the tournament has started. Justifiably so, I'm sure. In many cases, I could give you a million reasons why that is. I mean, at this point, it's like Scottie bingo. Like, what can you possibly say at this point that hasn't already been said? But what feels different about this time is, from a betting perspective, that people are actually saying to themselves, like, I've seen enough. Like, I'm breaking rules here. It's not the sustainable ROI that I'm used to betting week to week, but like, fool me once, like fool me twice. Like, I've just done this. I've done the T2. I've done the Colin 20-1. Like, I'm done betting the 90s Jazz. Okay. Like Colin, Rory, all these guys make sense. Like I'm done. So your takeaway, Geoffrey, as it pertains to Scottie Scheffler.
In some ways, it's hard to argue with any of that. Like you mentioned it, we were kind of seeing it. We're seeing it again. And now it's like he can survive triples. He could survive, all those like close lip outs in that final round as the other guy is making his move. It doesn't seem like there's anything he can't survive, Andy. And we have seen the betting without markets before. We've seen them even when Rory's like 8-1 in tournaments. They've put out betting without these players before. I have never seen the betting without market as early as it showed up on a Monday morning. Like It essentially showed up with the outright market.
And I've never seen so many people put out full without cards. And I've never seen so many serious golf bettors say, I'm doing it at 4-1 or a 3-1.
Right. And Andy, I could see you almost wish you were a hyper casual and like we're going to wake up next Monday and we're going to spend your Saturday, Sunday night writing a Travelers research article or whatever shitty event is in Detroit or something stupid coming up. Like you almost wish you were a casual. It would be so much easier to just bet the 3-1. Like if you didn't know that I've got to bet like 20 more tournaments this year. I just don't want to bet 3-1. Bay Hill, the players, this is just any time you got to put big boy pants on. It's only coming up one way. As a bettor, it's almost like I can't wait for Detroit for like Scottie not to play. Like, that's almost where my head is. Betting without. I've never thought to. I talk about maybe doing placement bets before, Andy. No, you get a 50-1 Like just, Hideki's popular. You got to get placings on that. If he comes in 7th place, you're going to get 10-1 with the extended placings. That's 3 times better than Scottie.
Yeah. And I slaved over this for the past 5 days. I should say I buried the lead. I am one of those people that took the plunge on Scottie. I bet him 4-1 CLV. I've never bet a golfer in my life under 7.5-1, Geoff. I bet a golfer 8-1 3 times in my life, and I'm 2 for 3. DJ at the November Masters, Xander and Cantlay 1 year at the Zurich when they won, and Xander 1 year at the Zozo Championship when he finished like T33. Okay. So I have no interest in doing this. I've been doing this for over 5 years. Only 3 times I've gone to 8-1. Okay. The issue that I had with Scottie this week. Okay. And I tried to concoct 7.
He could survive like ways. 5 random horrible bounces. Is that what you've concocted?
Right. Like, I mean, it's golf course dependent. I'm not going to do a whole thing on the golf course right now. Point being is I tried to concoct like all these things in my head of like all of these ways that he couldn't win. Right. And every single time I started doing it, I just felt clown emoji. Like I just felt being like, am I really going to come on a podcast and tell you that Fleetwood's going to go toe to toe with Scottie down the stretch? Like, am I really going to seriously do that? Am I really going to seriously do the Rory thing? Am I really going to seriously? The problem is, Geoff, is he doesn't have a freaking rival. Okay. There's not, do you know that Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler has played in the same golf? I'm talking about the second favorite to win this freaking tournament, have played in the same tournament 10 times this year. And Rory hasn't come close. There hasn't been one time this year where we've been like, you know what? Like if Rory has his A+ stuff, or if Brooks has his A+ stuff, or if Colin has his A+ stuff, or if Hovland has his A+ stuff, or if Ludwig has his A+ stuff, there hasn't been one time this year that we can point to with any of these guys where we can say, you know what? This guy went toe to toe with Scottie and beat him. This version of Scottie that knows how to putt. Okay. And so at the end of the day, I just think there'll be generational opportunities to fade Scheffler down the stretch. I think it's golf course dependent, but on this specific golf course, Pinehurst, I couldn't responsibly tell people to do something else in terms of my opinion, what the most likely outcome of this tournament is. And I don't think it's super fun to bet the non-Scottie market. That's not really my jam. It felt like Eastlake betting a different leaderboard. Like I want to bet the guy coming down the stretch. Like I don't want them to cut from coverage on the 17th hole to like this guy's backdooring a T2. You know what I mean? So I'm in. I'm doing it. I'm a fish. I'm whatever you want to call me. I'm a square. I'm Joe at the water cooler. I'm the casual guy. I've spent 19 hours breaking down this golf course, and I came up with Scottie's going to win. So I don't know.
And the square's been coming up, man, from just like back in Mahomes in the big game, back in UConn, just this past weekend, back in the players in the French Open. They're just like it's coming up. I don't know, man. Feels like it's just coming up chalk. Even we're here at the NBA Finals. Oddschecker's got you covered with all of it. The team that was probably favored before the playoffs started, just chalk's gonna probably win it all. So if you've been a chalk monkey and it's easy to jump in with the golf, good for you, Andy. I get it. Maybe I'd be there. To be honest, the decision was kind of taken out of my hands, simply because got a Ludwig future. Not the hundreds like the last one, but we got a 66 and a 35. So we take those into action. And I got a Vic 25 and Sahith 90. And you guys know me. Like if I didn't like a future, if I wanted, I tell you, I think of it like an NFL Monday Night Football game I lost like months ago, which is out of my brain. But even with, I just can't I couldn't post a card that had, even with the futures that had Scottie and the other guys. So it's kind of taken out of my hands for better or for worse. I don't know that I would do it if I came into the week naked because you could, I'm like a a hamster trying to get the cheese on the other side of an electronic fence. I'm going to get electrocuted a lot of times before I learn my lesson. My friend here, Andy, he's gotten buzzed one too many, and he's saying, no. I'm figuring out the other way to get the cheese. Figuring out the Scottie way is going to bring me the cheese. That's okay. Good living at 4-1. It is what it is. We'll accept the greatness.
Yeah.
If you just had to make a move, though, Andy, who else under 25-1? You didn't bet Scottie. Who were you thinking I can build? Who could be the captain of my card? For me, sometimes I get to majors. It's things I want to cheer for. Maybe it's a good spot for Rory, kind of coming under it. I know the course might be too hard in terms of scoring. No. Just who's Andy going on here? Because it would be Rory. I mentioned the guys that have the futures. If I had to make a bet naked here, I do actually don't mind the quietness surrounding Rory right now, and you just haven't baked in it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I listen, I made a promise to myself that I was done betting Rory at under 20-1 in majors. I was there, Geoff, for St. Andrews, for LACC. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm sticking to that for now. But I do agree there's like a lot of things working in Rory's direction. First of all, I do think it's a phenomenal golf course for him. Like Kiowa, Concession, Congaree, like these sandy soil, firm turf, like this is a good golf course for him. And I like that this is not a major that Rory has a connection to, right? This feels like one of the first majors we've seen in a while where people don't expect him to win, and there wouldn't be anything serendipitous about Rory winning at Pinehurst. It wouldn't be like Rory winning at Oak Hill, which is where he met his now ex-wife. It wouldn't be like Rory winning at Valhalla, which is the last place he would have majored. God, don't get me started on Rory at Augusta, Rory at Royal Liverpool, Rory at St. Andrews, right? Like, I like that there isn't this emotional resonance and memory that we have with Rory at Pinehurst. Now, with that being said, if I was not betting Scottie, to answer your question, I would bet Brooks Koepka. I think Brooks Koepka, this is a cerebral golf course that is about decision making, is about pacing. What you want to look at is Shinnecock 2018 +1. Like, that to me is quintessential Brooks when he's at his best, is knowing that I can start. There are very few people that understand, like Brooks Koepka, the pacing of a major. There are very few people that understand, like, I can go +2 through my first 6 and not mentally freak out about it and start pressing. And I think that this is going to be one of those majors, even if it's one at 5 under instead of 1 over. Brooks 22-1 would be the direction I go.
Any cat, like we all got friends who we bet golf every week. We got friends who just like to bet majors. They come in and ask you who to pick. Who am I picking? I'm like, I'm picking these guys, but you should just decide if you're picking Brooks or Scottie. Like, if you want to like go all in, or like, come on. And what I love about Brooks, even though I'm not betting him, and I always think when the books are daring you to bet him, like, he never pulls it off. Like, you can tell in the books are, but that seems cerebral, and his ability to save bogey when it should be double is, I think, as big as anyone's on tour. And weeks like this feel like that's an incredible quality. And that just the nails moments, his around the green, his toughness, you said it all. It's hard for me to argue that. I'll just cry for Fleetwood, I think. I don't need to bet Fleetwood.
God, he's 35-1, Jeffrey.
I know
what happened?
I don't know, man. People, what you mentioned, the Shinnecock thing.
Aaron Hills, Congaree,
there's a lot of there's a lot of narratives that it's, will be very, the Linksy European guys could have a lot of, success here. I don't know, veteran European, but you're paying, he's the top of market. There's a small handful of guys who could fit that bill. I love Tommy. Like I said, I'll cry for Tommy. I'm not betting Tommy. For me at the top, so obviously my futures, Ludwig, Hovland. Obviously, Hovland, he'd have to go ceiling. You have to have some ceiling moments. I get it. Ludwig, I swear to God, in terms of grinding out pars, outside of maybe Scottie Scheffler, he feels as good as anybody.
Are you worried about the knee?
Yeah, of course. But I got these few. I don't have anything for the Open, Andy. So this is my 100 to 1 at the Masters, 100 to 1 at the PGA, the 60 here. This is the end of my ride.
Well, listen, if you got 60 plus on Ludwig, he could have one leg and it'd still be a good bet.
Yeah.
I'm talking about if somebody's entering this week, would you recommend a 22?
It's hard, but at the same time, he kind of showed last week. Listen, everyone but Colin and obviously Scottie, like they had this, like they just poofed. They evaporated. Whether it was our boy Fitzpatrick in round 1 or Connors in round 2 or Hovland and Bradley, like you just you evaporated. Colin was the only one who just had one moment of a double and never evaporated and was able to hang on. Ludwig, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough with the knee, but I trust him so much and I like my number. I don't know that I could condone it now. Let's go farther down.
Can I ask one question? And this will transition us into farther down. What's a better bet this week? Tommy at 33 to 1 or Rahm at 33 to 1?
If you'd asked me a week ago, and I think Rahm will get to 40. I do, because I don't think people are
Cam
betting
Smith
it.
Up to 45 after that 82. A lot of people were, getting your 30 to 1 Cam Smith futures now. I mean, he's up to 45 to 1.
Yeah, he's a guy, maybe I bet. I don't know. I'm like swimming around. Rahm feels really weird. A week ago, if you'd have told, a week ago, I would have thought I would have dipped, as he climbed the ladder, the number climbed, I could go back there. I was up north, sort of in the out of contact for a bit. I didn't even know he withdrew till late yesterday. I even watched the 4th round of Memorial on a recording because I wanted to see what was going. I just wanted to watch it a little, even if I was going to fast forward through a blowout. So I was out of the loop on that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see what people are saying on the grounds. I really will. In terms of that, I'm going to sit on the fence here, but I think I'm going to say, wow, the fact that I might say Tommy is actually crazy. It's actually crazy. Andy, Hideki Matsuyama might be the most popular player.
Really?
I feel like I've seen everyone. He played 4 rounds at the Memorial. He looked good. Yes, he hasn't played a ton of golf, but you'd argue there aren't 5. There's 14 players, I believe, counting on the odds checker grid between him and Scottie. I don't think that there's 5 players I'd rather have than him in terms of trying to pick the winner. Our boy Fitz, I think, could be a lovely.
He was great for us last week. He backdoored that non-competitive T5. Like we all expected it to. Difficult conditions. Fitz is the best bet when the scoring average is +3 to shoot -3, and when the scoring average is -3 to shoot +3. Seems like the scoring average is going to be closer to +3 this week. So I like Fitz a lot too. I don't think he's winning 2 U.S. Opens in 3 years. Gosh, I haven't looked at the odds all day, Geoff. Do you know Cantlay's 55 to 1?
Yeah, I don't care.
Just JT year from last year. Maybe there's a lot of. It's just a JT year.
A lot of factors. I think as we sort of saw, I don't know, man. Being on that policy board at this point in your career, it doesn't do anyone any favors. Just it seems like it's a lot of noise. It's a lot of nonsense. Yeah. Winning, playing good, consistent golf is hard enough. After what's happened to Rory and Cantlay, I don't see how any good player and still in their winning years would ever want to head that policy board, or have to put a shit-eating grin on to look at Jay Monahan in the face either every time you go into a meeting.
Wyndham Clark is higher odds to win this U.S. Open than he was to win last U.S. Open now. After winning a U.S. Open, another signature event, and finishing runner-up at the Players, he is now higher odds to win this U.S. Open than he was last U.S. Open.
That is wild. That is wild. I'd like to think I could easily get on one of the 90, one of Fitzpatrick or Hideki this week, potentially, Andy. And credit to anyone who has the stones to bet Ty Hatton to win. Not that, everyone, seems like to be a lovely track for him. Points to lots of things he does well. If you could actually bank on him having the mental fortitude to A, deal with Pinehurst, and B, deal with a major, all the credit to you. Andy, this must be easy for you. Just look at all these names. You're betting Scottie. You laugh.
Yeah.
You don't even have to think about it.
Let's do one or two more bombs before we get out of here. Is there
okay? I'll give you one. Okay. This is a total boom or bust situation.
Sure.
I talk about him a lot. The approach play, not ideal, but the long approach isn't horrible.
Yeah.
If driving distance really can become a thing this week, maybe a guy like Minwoo Lee.
Yeah.
Could be in play. And I'll give one more from back here. I was shocked to see this morning, looking at how well Sung Jae Im has played in the last little bit. He's a guy, I don't know if I'll actually bet for the outright, Andy, but he's a guy that I'm going to be investing in some markets. Seeing him as high as 90 to 1 on the odds checker grid, as low as 50. So quite the discrepancy there. Who do you like at the back here?
I'm going to put your brain in a pretzel here. Cameron Young or DJ are the same odds.
I'm out on Cam. Yeah, at least I'm just at he missed his window when he was playing really well, and I hung on a little too long, thinking that he was good enough to return to the window.
Yeah.
One of my friends has a friend who volunteered and worked in the locker room at the Canadian Open. Cam Young, just I don't know. You get the vibe. He doesn't even enjoy his job.
Take your ball and go home. Yep. Miserable at the Memorial.
Okay, so there's this vibe around. Sure. Yeah. I'm sure.
I've also heard from my buddies in South Florida that that belong to the same club that DJ practices at and has always practiced at. That DJ has been there 4 times all year.
I probably might pick DJ right now. I don't know, but I think I might pick DJ. I don't want any part of all of them. Obviously, Sepp Straka's gotten steam. Okay, yeah. But Andy, let's get out just a flag of Bob. Triple digit. Peace of mind. You bet Scottie at 4 to 1, but even in your head, you're like, I could put a couple bucks on this 150, 200 to 1 guy just for peace of mind or something. Who would that be? Where
is he? Harris English, 170 to 1.
Yeah, the I don't want to say local ties, but regional comfort, certainly for Harris English. Yeah, I don't know. Flush it. I don't mind that one. Crazy enough, Boccia 220 over at FanDuel looking at the
North Carolina guy.
So that would be the shout that I would make if you maybe bet a triple digit, but I'm not betting that. I'll just burn money at the top.
Nah. All right, boss. Who does your gut tell you is your winner this week?
I mean, it's Scottie Scheffler, but if you're going to make me pick a pick that's off of it.
Yeah.
Some people would be like, no chance. He won't chip well enough, but I always think the ceiling for Victor is always in play.
Yeah. What the heck happened on Saturday? I think
he can catch a train. I'm not a swing expert. I don't know, but it seems like he doesn't have an in-round fix. That's some high level. It goes bad. Anytime he makes a bogey, Andy, I'm always, because trust me, I'm a big fan. I bet him a lot, so track it a lot. I'm always worried 1 bogey means 3. I didn't think it could be what it was.
That's what happened on Saturday. Yeah,
but it was worse. It's actually probably worse than 3. Fowler used to catch trains. 1 would turn into 3 in a row or something.
He caught one on Friday this last week.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, classic Fowler that I used to back way too short. Andy, you can send us out, but before you do, let everyone know, follow Andy on Twitter. He's putting out some great content this week, all throughout the week, and always with the historical Pinehurst stuff, some nerdy course stuff.
Yeah. You can find all of our stuff. Geoff Fienberg 14. Did I get that right?
17. 14 has me.
17. Geoff Fienberg 17. ADP LACC Sports. This was another episode of The Drive presented by oddschecker, and we will see you back on this channel next week for World Travelers Championship. Enjoy the U.S. Open, friends.